Okay, listen. This is not the video that I intended to be posting today, mind you. It is Sunday, August 14th. I already had recorded a very different video to be posting today, but unfortunately, I just think I overcomplicated the structure of the video, and while I was trying to edit, it's just like too much. I had a big weekend. I was out of town all weekend and I'm tired. I simply cannot handle I can't handle editing. I just can't. So, I'm going to save that video for another day where I have the energy to figure out how to fix it. And today I'm going to talk about something a little bit different. And it's a little bit more fun, and we're just going to look at pictures. And I had this idea, and recently I tweeted about it. So if you're on Twitter, maybe you should follow me because I'm doing fun things on Twitter. I'm really enjoying it. It's probably my 15th Twitter account in my life. I always get bored of them and delete, but I think that I'm going to actually stick this one out because I'm having more fun with it. It's like still me, but it does have a very high interior design focus. So today, as I previously mentioned on my Twitter, I'm going to talk about avant-garde home design ideas, maybe trends that I really like. They're not maybe necessarily each one is something I would necessarily do in my home or like prioritize doing. Like, I think if it worked out, that would be cool, maybe. But I really like a lot of these things, and I think that they're interesting, and it's not something that people that I see very often, in the interior design world. So let's get into these avant-garde kitchens. We're going to start with kitchens, and this is going to be like a mini series. I'm going to take you around the house kind of thing. But so today we're going to do kitchens. So let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about are unfitted kitchens. So if you don't know what that means, a fitted kitchen is a standard kitchen where it has cupboards that are made specifically for the space and they fit in and they're glued to the wall. They're going to stay there. They're going to live there forever unless you've got the kitchen, right? An unfitted kitchen, which I just think is so cool, would be you just put dry sinks, sideboards, other random furniture that can act as your countertops in the space. Instead of doing a fitted kitchen, you can have really cute antique pieces of furniture as your normal counters, cupboards, whatever. So I recently saw this on a video where her name is Alexandra Tolstoy. She is an English interior designer. I think she's an interior designer. I think. She was featured on House and Garden on their YouTube. And she said, basically, you don't need to have a fitted kitchen. Like, I don't know why everyone thinks that you need to have one. So when I saw her kitchen, I lost my mind. And now I can't get over this idea. And so I just really love this. Her kitchen is beautiful. But this right here is an antique that she just put in her kitchen and uses that as her cupboards, and I think it's genius. It literally blew my mind. I can't get over it. And so I started to find other things on Pinterest that were similar. And so I love this one. This has this gorgeous almost workbench. Looks a little bit more antique than that. And then, just the oven is the freestanding thing, and then everything else around it is just kind of whatever you can find. And it just works in a lot of these spaces. And in a way, I think you can be more custom. Like your space could be more customized because you're finding the perfect thing to fit. And it's different, it's unique. And I just love that. And I love this one. This is like great. You know, you can see a little bit of the open shelving with the dishes, but it's not cupboards and then open shelves up top. You know what I'm saying? I just really have an infatuation for this. And this one's great. You could fill this bottom with some baskets and put linens or cleaning supplies or whatever you need underneath here in this little section, and then, you know, use the drawers. I mean, one thing in my kitchen that drives me absolutely insane is that I don't have a ton of cupboard space. My landlord really skimped on the cupboards because he decided not to do upper cabinets, and honestly, with how my kitchen is, I would have preferred to just have upper cabinets. So there's open shelving and it just gets like really cluttery looking. I don't know. I love it and I hate it all at the same time. It's just like not right for the space, I think. But anyways, I don't have drawers either in my kitchen. So excited when I got my workbench in my kitchen because it had a drawer and I can put my extra dish towels and stuff in the drawer. You don't understand. This was like a revolutionary thing for me. Like I was so excited to have one drawer in my kitchen so I can have my towels convenient instead of having to like go over to my pantry to get. This one is also really fun and unique because it looks like they got on either side of the oven, there's like two matching chopping blocks. It kind of looks like. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe this would drive me nuts eventually with the way that I would have to clean. I think with this image in particular, it would kind of make me crazy because I feel like the gap between the oven and the chopping blocks, like that would be difficult to clean. I don't know, but it's just like it just looks so cozy. And I just think like the kitchen is the hearth of the home, right? Like this is where everyone spends most of their time, and it brings so much like warmth and joy to anyone who's coming over to your house. Maybe it's just like I was raised in this like very Italian mindset, and I know it's not just an Italian thing, and I'm not even the most Italian person in the world. I'm mostly French, honestly, but it's just like that idea that like we show how we care about someone by feeding them. You know, it's a Greek thing. There's maybe it's like a European thing. Like we have to feed you so that you know that we love you. And so I think like making your kitchen like cozy instead of being like this sterile environment. For a long time, our landlord had put one of those like stainless steel, that was our island. It was a stainless steel table and it was like too sterile. Like I just didn't like that. I felt like at some point someone could have performed an autopsy on this table. That's absolutely not what happened. This table was definitely from IKEA, but my brain just is like, no, it's like too dental. I don't know. So I warmed it up with a workbench. And that's just my taste in kitchens. For me personally, I have fake nails on, so I'm talking with my hands. Okay, moving on. I enjoy a very cozy, warm, inviting kitchen because when I'm cooking, I want people to hang out with me. So it's got to be inviting. You know what I'm saying? And this is just gorgeous. There's hardly even like, it's hardly unfitted. It's a fitted kitchen and it's stunning. But there is that one little piece in the back that's unfitted, and that was enough for me to include this pretty picture. Okay, this too. It's like a mix. It's half unfitted, half fitted. And I think that there's like a compromise there. If you want it to be fitted in certain areas and then, you know, you don't know what to do with another wall, you could do, an antique sideboard or something to kind of fill the space without having to fit your entire kitchen. But this particular image brings me into my next thing, which is skirting in your kitchen to disguise clutter, etc. I think this, again, is a warm and cozy thing that I just personally like seeing and I've used this in design before in kitchens. I love this underneath this chopping block. It adds texture in a way that I think is a little bit unexpected, maybe a little bit more old-fashioned or traditional. But this looks like, to me, in this blue kitchen, this looks very much like one of those IKEA butcher blocks. And then they just put a skirt on the bottom. That's an instant way to make an IKEA item more unique, more interesting, and honestly, they're able to hide all of their clutter underneath the butcher block by having this cute little textured moment underneath that butcher block. And I just think it's so much more fun than just having, again, that like sterile environment of having the butcher block and then like open shelves under metal shelves underneath with all your pots and pans. Like, this is like a nice warm and cozy way to add texture, add color, and honestly disguise whatever garbage you have going on underneath. I'm not the most organized person, so that's perfect for me, instead of just having, I even like it under a sink. This one's interesting because they put it underneath their entire cupboards. So instead of having doors, they used fabric. And this is great for maybe someone who doesn't have pets. My cats would be all up in those cupboards. Like, that is not something I could have in my space, but I would absolutely design it for someone else if it would work for them. If they just want to disguise their stuff and not have, cupboard doors to clean, or I don't know, it's just different. It's just a little bit more interesting. And what's nice about this too, they do have curtains in here, but this room in particular has so much window that this adds so much more texture than just having a bunch of cabinets there. Just having all that like plain wood or whatever you would have chosen, that warm fabric, soft texture adds really something special to a space like this where they kind of need that, Of course, in your butler pantry, you absolutely should put it on your bottom cupboard. And I don't think I need to explain myself. I think that I'm absolutely right, and there's nothing wrong with that, and everyone should agree that if you have a butler pantry, if you were blessed with a butler pantry, you need to have a cutie little textured moment. That's all I need to say. Thank you. Again, butler pantry, super cute. And this one is short too, so they have their books underneath, which is nice. And then you just have like a little bit of texture to hide a little bit extra clutter. I think it's great. The next thing I am really interested in seeing in design that's a little more avant-garde is mixing tiles. In this first image I'm showing you, traditional black and white checker on the floor, great. And then they do this fun splash of color and do a half wall of tile with a different color, different size. I think it's so fun. It adds color, texture in a way that's just unexpected, and I really appreciate that. I think you can so easily just have, black and white tile floor, marble, whatever else, and it's just like kind of boring. Or you have, wood floors, and then you just have a backsplash, and that's totally fine, and it works in a lot of spaces. I just, again, like this slightly off Like when I'm designing or when I am thinking about a space, I don't want everything to be like perfect. I like things to be just like a little bit off. Like this is a really good example of mixing tiles. It's just like you wouldn't think to mix them. This gorgeous green, it's almost like a herringbone pattern, right? On the floor, and then almost as like mosaic style for the cupboards and the countertop. And I love how they wrapped the sides with it too. I think that's so genius. Really just interesting and different. And obviously this is probably not in America. I don't know, I guess it could be in LA, but I really like this unexpected twist. Even like there's a lot of good stuff going on in this kitchen. Those unexpected doors on those counters are fantastic. I say if people want to start doing fitted kitchens, do it like this, where it is fitted. There's no gutting that, you know? That's kind of rude, but think about yourself. People need to stop designing for resale value. Do you know what I mean? Design for yourself. Who cares? If someone likes your house and wants to buy it, they're going to buy it and they can change whatever they want. But designing for resale value is boring. Boring. This one is really nice because it's subtle. Okay? I love this fun pink and red with a splash of teal, checkered behind the hearth, behind the oven. Love that. And then the floor is just like a simple Tuscan rustic basic tile. And I like this just because I think it's, number one, it's simple and easy. Anyone can do that. This is like a common kitchen floor, right? So you can easily put a little pop of color and it's not clashing, because you have to think about anything that you're going to put on your floor as a neutral, as like a denim, and then you can have fun on the walls. It doesn't have to be this like perfectly matching thing where, you know, oh, well, if I'm going to have black and white tile floors, that means I can only have black or white on the walls. Anyways, I'm just saying these unexpected choices are really fun. Hence, I'm making a whole video on avant-garde kitchens. Okay, this one is potentially my favorite. And I'm going to take this opportunity to finally tell you guys how much I hate the word juxtaposition. And I think that it is such a like sellout word. It's overused in design, in art. Oh my God. Get over yourself. Use it more words. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I just think that these are they have such an interesting dynamic. They're not what anyone, I think, would in their right mind just like pair, unless you're a genius. I think this is so fantastic. This sort of vintage, maybe it is vintage tile, with this almost latticing pattern. I've never seen anything like that tile in my life. It's so beautiful. And then on the floor, it's not your average black and white tile floor. It's a unique pattern. So it's really interesting to put two very unique patterns in the same room. And then your like neutralizing element is the green cupboards. It's kind of bananas, but it works in this. And I think that more people need to be taking risks like this. It's just so much more fun. This one is a personal favorite as well. And it does kind of the same thing in the sense, right, that it has this like neutralizing green cupboard. And this is a subtle thing I think people can do, where you pick a more interesting marble as your backsplash, as your countertop. You don't pick a normal marble, right? And then you have a traditional red and white checkered floor, and then that lacquered cupboard. This is really well designed in my opinion. It's just a little bit different. where it's definitely eye-catching and people will be like, oh my God, I love your kitchen. But it's not too far off the beaten path. Like, whereas the last one, people can probably look at that and say that's heinous. But this one, I think it's undeniably gorgeous. And if you disagree, I think you're wrong. No, I don't think you are. You're just wrong. So, okay. I'm obsessed with these sort of glass bowl. Is that what it's called? Fishbowl. With this sort of fishbowl kitchen. I like that. I don't know. I don't know if this would work for me in my lifestyle. But visually, I think it's so different, and I just think that it adds like some like really interesting texture to your space. Defining this space in this way is more fun. Like if you have to have a separated space, let's say you have a load-bearing wall, like you can't actually knock down the wall between your kitchen and your living room, but your kitchen's kind of small and you want it to still be a place where people can like come and hang out with you while you're cooking because you're entertaining, etc. This is such a great way to be able to keep the space open. And let's pretend, for argument's sake, that like there's a big pillar on the left and on the right because they're load bearing, right? Like this is a great way to keep the room separate without completely separating yourself. You know, there's still a dialogue between the spaces. Obviously, if you're in the living room, the way that you've designed your living room is going to have some give and take from the kitchen, I would think, at looking at something like this, because I love the way this is a Matilda Goad design, by the way. The way that, you know, she did the pink paint in the kitchen and that hot pink kind of red tile, and then that intentional green inside those lower cupboards. I mean, that was all, you know, it doesn't become a new space. They definitely flow, and so it's like this in between of open concept and closed concept. Is that a thing? This too is also nice because, again, if you have to have a small kitchen, it's nice to have this kind of enclosure of it being a separate space without completely closing yourself in. So, you know, if there was some sort of like alley kitchen, putting in these windows is just a really nice way to make it feel a lot more open, a lot more spacious. This I love too. And what's great about this particular design, I guess with Matilda Goads as well, is that the half wall before the windows start are all cupboards. So you're really thinking about your space. You're really utilizing the opportunities for optimizing your storage. It's just really smart design, I think. And again, it helps to not feel so enclosed if you have to have a small kitchen. Okay. Last thing, I'm really into this. I could not find more images just like this one. I know that they exist, but for the sake of this video, I couldn't find more. I love this whole floor to ceiling cupboard situation that's clear. First of all, because they're glass doors, I actually wouldn't be concerned about clutter just because of the floor to ceiling situation. That's a lot of cupboard space. And I don't think that it would become something that would be too busy. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it works, and I think it's just different. Instead of having tall cupboards, cabinets, whatever, that are just wood. Who wants to look at wood? I have a lot of pretty things. Maybe I want to show off all my pretty things. Well, here you go. Floor to ceiling, glass cupboards, and then it's behind glass. You know, it does consolidate everything. It's not just open shelves and overwhelming. That even just that enclosure brings it all tones it all down, right? It's not so in your face, open shelves. You know, that glass really brings it all together, even though you can see everything still, you know? But even this one is cute too. It works. They still have floor to ceiling cupboards, okay? On the left-hand side, those are closed. But then these glass ones, you can display some of your nicer things. And I just appreciate this like glass cabinet situation. This one too. This one's a little bit more vintage. Slightly more like, you know, it almost looks like it would have been like a feature of the home that was a part of the initial architecture. So I like to display things personally. I don't always like china cabinets. I think that they're clunky, and this, because it's more built in, it becomes more streamlined, you know, because it's all just seems like everything is kind of put in its place inside the home without it being another piece of furniture. Okay, that is all I have for today, and I hope that this wasn't the worst video I've ever put out. I hope you enjoyed some of these avant-garde kitchen design ideas. Let me know if there's any that you'd be willing to try out, or if you hate them all. I want to hear about it. You can like this video if you so desire, if you want to make my day. You can subscribe if you want to make my day, because that would maybe even make my week. I get so excited. Okay, I'm gonna edit this and upload it, and then I have to pack because I'm going to New York tomorrow. I'm excited, but I'm tired. Okay. Love you. Bye.